and welcome back to the High Vibe YouTube channel. It's Leo season, so it's time to go ahead and check in. I'm Nell Nicole. I will be your astrologer for today. As always, I'm going to be taking you guys through the planetary transits so that we can get an accurate temperature of what it is that we should expect for these next few weeks. If you guys are interested in personal readings, go to nellnicole.com and click on book a reading or book a session. I always forget. I made the website myself and I forget what the button is. The description is down below. One tier for astrology readings and one tier for tarot readings, so you can sort of go peruse both of those menus. And everything I'm getting ready to say in this video is it applies collectively. If you guys would like a more personalized reading or a personalized version of what these energies mean for you, you'd have to get a birth chart reading with a transit add-on in order to see what's going on with the sky now and how it's affecting you personally. And I cannot forget to mention, I've got my white shirt on right now, but we do have zodiac necklaces coming very, very soon to the website. As you guys can see, this is my Aquarius necklace. These are tarnish-free pieces of jewelry, hypoallergenic, or you like to wear your jewelry in the shower or in the pool or whatever the case may be. I've had this one for, I want to say like 2 months now, and I wear it pretty often. And no tarnishing. So if you guys are interested in those zodiac necklaces, they will be posted on the website very, very soon. Let's go ahead and get into the video. And we're getting ready to get into Leo season. I want you guys to have some sort of a resource, right, to refer to as we go through the 4 weeks that are going to be containing Leo season this year, 2021. And basically I'm going to take you through each of the dates where we have really important transits going on in the sky, and give you guys all the information that you need to be able to use this season as an opportunity for growth. Here on this channel on High Vibe, we are all about self-growth, alignment, you know what I mean, enlightenment, and really doing the work that needs to be done in order to heal ourselves from generational trauma, from just, you know, the way of the world, the weight of being a human being. Okay, so now to get into the meat of this entire conversation, which is Leo season. What's going on? I like to start a little bit before Leo season. So we did have Chiron go into, well, it was in Aries, but Chiron went retrograde in Aries, I want to say on the 15th of July. This is very significant and super important because Chiron is the asteroid that talks about where our wounds are. It brings up our insecurities. Chiron is the wounded healer. So it's the planet that talks, or the asteroid that talks about where we struggle, really. What our personal hangups are. What are the things that, you know, if your life story was a comic book, what would be your kryptonite? You know what I mean? The one weakness that you have that you might mask very well. Other people might not have even an inkling that this is something that you're going through or struggling with, depending on how it's aspected for you. But the thing is, we all have Chiron somewhere. And so right now we're all collectively being challenged on the level of individuality, on the level of courage, on the level of, you know, how brave are you and how much do you believe in your sense of being able to forge it alone. Chiron being in Aries also highlights, because Aries is the baby of the zodiac, so it also highlights our sort of childhood traumas, the things that we've been struggling with all our lives, you know, like as you grow up, what do they say, new levels, new devils. But what I've discovered is life is cyclical. It's not a straight line. It's not. You tend to work through something and you either fail or you succeed, and you continue going and you continue growing, and then you're gonna hit that same nail again, you know, that same point again. And at that point the question becomes, have you learned anything since the last time that you hit this same road bump? So Chiron coming up is going to ask us that question. It's going to bring about those old fears, those old traumas, those old situations and circumstances, insecurities, embarrassing moments even it could bring up for some people. So since the 15th, I want you guys to kind of think back in your mind, like, what's been going on? What's been happening? What situations and circumstances have been meeting me along my journey at this time? Because I think we'll all start to see those little areas of vulnerability pop up, dealing with different people. And also notice your reaction to what people bring to you, because Aries is the planet, or is the sign of war. And so it's a lot about, you against the world, and are you able to stand on your own 2 feet? And what do you do when it's time to become defensive, or when it's time to protect yourself? Do you become more defensive and deflective, or are you willing to actually deal with things as they come and people as they come? Do you have the courage enough to actually stand up to your fears, right? Or are you just using the avoidance tactic and further suppressing, right, those insecurities, and not allowing yourself to really bring them up to be healed and dealt with? Chiron is heavy. It can be worth it to take a little bit of a reflective moment. This is why journaling can be really good as well, because if you have any sort of entries that you did during that time, I would definitely urge you to go back and look at them and see if you can sort of pinpoint what your key points of wounding are, so that you can begin to acknowledge them and recognize it's time to start healing those wounds. It's time to parent yourself as well as what I'm hearing, because Aries, again, being the baby, it is but it's also the initiator, the first one. It's like the baby that's expected to figure this shit out and is not afraid to go out and see what's up with the world and touch the oven to see if it's hot. It has to learn its lessons on its own. So at this point, as your childhood wounds come up, recognize that parenting ourselves is needed during this time. Really giving the baby version of you the love, the nurturing, the encouragement, just the energy that you would have needed, right? Coming up. Like, I feel like everybody has experienced trauma in their lives. It's not to say that, I just feel like you could have the best parents in the world, you're going to experience some sort of heartbreak in your life, right? You could have the best parents in the world, they might not always understand how exactly you need to be nurtured in each and every single situation. So it's up to you to be that parent to yourself, to be that person to yourself, that even if nobody else knows what you're struggling with, can you do the positive self-talk to work your way through that? Can you coach yourself through these difficult feelings and emotions? This is what Chiron is urging us to do. Moving forward, so we start out Leo season on the 23rd of July, and with a full moon in Aquarius. This Leo season is going to be extremely eventful because we started off with a full moon in Aquarius at 1 degrees, and then as soon as it goes into Virgo season, the same day that the sun goes into Virgo, we have another full moon in Aquarius at 29 degrees. The 1st degree and the 29th degree are very important, as the 1st degree is like we're entering into a sign and we're coming off the heels of the sign before it. And so, yes, we've learned some things from the sign before us, but now we're here and we're being asked to graduate to a whole nother level of understanding. So this first full moon is going to be important because it's asking us to, in essence, start the conversation of beginning to identify who we truly are, what our true purpose is, why we feel like we have incarnated this time, what we feel like we came here to do. Okay, and then just to fast forward, when we get to that full moon at 29 degrees Aquarius, it's going to be the same thing but times 1,000, because the 29th degree in any sign is about the culmination of all of that sign's lessons. And so, yeah, we're kind of being put on the fast track here and being challenged back to back, right, about what it is that we're continuing to hold on to emotionally and how it helps us define who we are and what we have to offer to the collective. I'm talking about the moon here, which is where the emotion comes in. And Aquarius being the sign of individuality, breaking free from the collective, the radical sign, the rebellious one, right? It really moves on its own timing. It needs to, just like Aries, it needs to bump its head. It needs to figure things out on its own. Aquarius can be extremely prideful. They'd rather make their mistakes alone in the dark, and then figure some things out and then present things to the collective. But furthermore, I think that this is about just reconnecting with self. Aquarius and Leo are opposite in the sky, so they do share that theme, it being about the self. Sun being in Leo, which it went into Leo on the same day, the 23rd, it gives us that energy of separation from the group as well. But Leo doesn't separate to hide away. Leo wants to separate to be celebrated. Leo wants to self-identify so much and be so confident and be so just in its own sense of joy, in its own sense of happiness, of fulfillment. It wants to set its own rules, do things its own way. They're both fixed signs. But with Leo being here, it's almost asking us, what parts of yourself do you feel most proud of? So that full moon being there, as soon as we go into Leo, it's like this double dichotomy of who are you? What have you been working on in secret? What parts of yourself have you been trying to refine and, you know, work out? Because Aquarius can be very difficult too. Like, it does its dirty work in the dark because, honey, it's a complicated sign. So it needs to separate. But it's asking, okay, so you've had this sense of separation. You've had this time to sort of process things. Now, what are you bringing to the table? When it's your turn to go up on stage, what are going to be your gifts and talents? What can you show the collective how to do better than anybody else knows how to do it? These are Leo things. It's also asking us what makes us special and how can we utilize those qualities, those gifts, for a collective purpose, right? Leo and Aquarius are both superstars of the zodiac in their own way. They need their own space, their own spotlight, honey, like very much so. And so again, just giving the theme and the energy to us all, right? That we need to maybe do some shadow work and then have that moment of fun and celebration, because Chiron's going to want us to look at all of the things that we feel are wrong with us. And Aquarius is like kind of like that too, where, you know, you recognize the humanness in all of us. So it's like, unless I have something good to say, I'm not coming outside. Unless I have something to contribute, I'm not getting ready to get mixy with you motherfuckers, because it's fake. Leo understands though. I'm gonna get mixy with you fake ass bitches, because guess what? I'm gonna be celebrated one way or another, honey. Yeah, there's definitely that conversation happening of how important do you think you are, and if you've done the real work, then that Leo season, okay, show us what you got. That moment is going to be filled with confidence and exuberance, and you're going to be ready to put your foot down and tell these motherfuckers exactly where you begin and where you end, exactly what you're about, what you're about to do and what you're not about to do, how you will help out and contribute and how you're not going to help out and contribute. It's also giving us a very bossy energy. It's like, if you've done the work to be sure about who you are, what you bring to the table, you're sure about yourself, then Leo is this vehicle that helps us push things along and helps us bring energy to what it is that we're doing, bring energy to our own self-evolution. That's another thing with both of these signs. They want to grow and learn and expand and always be better. Better than the last version of themselves. Like, if you've been doing the work, this season can be like the current right underneath you, pushing you along to say, okay, who's ready? Who's ready? It's like making the band. Remember that? Like, you could tell who have been going hard and practicing, like they came in, they was ready for that that boot camp, almost like that. Okay, you're being put in front of everybody. You got to show out. What you gonna do? What are your tricks? Pull them out. I'm getting ready to test everything about what you got going on to see how much fortitude you have, how much tenacity you really have. What are you really made of? That's what this Leo season is going to be about. On the 27th, we have Mercury entering Leo. We have Mercury entering Leo, which is actually today. That's the day I'm filming this. So yeah, we want to talk about those accomplishments. We really want to big ourselves up. Like, it's a time, people might get on your nerves, to be honest. Like, Leo season is never easy for the rest of the zodiac, because Leos want you to see them. They want you to see their growth and their development and what makes them special. They want to feel appreciated and celebrated. And they also want to do that to others, you know what I mean? If it's earned, like if it's earned. But I'm saying this to say we're going to be much more communicative. It's going to be, you know, like put your money where your mouth is type of energy. We don't want to talk for the sake of talking. I want you to say something when you have something entertaining to say. I want you to say something when you have something motivational to say, or something provocative, something that could push the envelope or initiate action is another thing. Because Leo is a fire sign, so it wants to do things. Like, if you're not trying to plan something or get something going, Leo gets bored real quick. So it's about the excitement. It's about the drama. It's about the, you know, the wow factor. I would say be careful. If you don't want to start fights and stuff like that, it's definitely a time to watch your words. If you don't want to be taken the wrong way, it's definitely a time to watch your words. I feel Leo can be a double-edged sword, as with any sign. You know, on one hand, you know, we admire their sense of just surety about themselves, and like I keep saying, the confidence that they have and their leadership abilities, because even when they're feeling sad, you will never know it, because the Leo will never let you see them sweat, right? But in that same vein, it can become boastful or just like braggadocious, and that's what we don't want, because that's where Leo becomes less fun to be around. And it's like, girl, all you think about is what you got going on, or how to just make shit more dramatic, or people could embellish stories a little bit more now, or want to make things seem more entertaining, more juicy, more boom 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 bam than what they really are. So I would say, if you're doing any sort of negotiations, business dealings, just make sure you get stuff in writing. Make sure that you have the logistics figured out, and that you're not like overreaching with your words, okay? And also, like I said, if you don't want people to perceive you the wrong way, then maybe think twice before you speak. You know, be confident in what you're saying, but just don't overdo it. This is a season we don't want to be overzealous. The proof will be in the pudding. Okay, so don't undersell yourself either. It's really just about being sure of who you are, again, and being in that space of, you know, not humble. People hate the word humble, but humble courage, humble confidence. Being ready, being prepared, okay? And I say that because we've got Mars going into Virgo, okay? Venus, wait, I might be lying, because I think Venus and Mars are there, but let me double check. Yeah, Venus was already in Virgo at the start of Leo season, and Mars meets there. Venus and Mars being the level of appreciation that we have Venus, and our willingness to take action behind it, Mars. So Virgo is good. I love to have Virgo right next to Leo, because the word humble that I just used, Virgo is going to bring that energy of, okay, yeah, we can be great, we can do all this crazy stuff, but you realize realistically the work that's going to need to be put in order to realize, you know, to bring into fruition, to birth this grand thing that you want to be seen for and known for and brag about, right? Virgo is ready to actually put the head down and do the work. Venus being here is giving us a sense of appreciation and putting value on those with a plan. But what can actually be done within this time frame that we have? What sort of forethought do we need to have before even entering into this situation, so that when we get there, we don't get tripped up, you know, over this huge idea that we're trying to bring forward. Virgo is having your shit in order, putting an emphasis on being a natural at things, and sort of honing our natural skills and talents, and bringing them to a level of using practice to bring them to a level of perfection. You want to make something that's going to be exciting, but also you want to make something that's going to be successful, that's going to float, that's going to have legs. So we're all having this sense of, you know, that's what we like right now. That's what we want to go towards. That's what's going to spark people's interest and get them invested in what it is that you have going on. How down to earth is this idea? Does it make sense? Can you explain it to a 5-year-old? And then we also have Mars here. So it's giving the extra added, all right, so we're not just thinking about it. We're not just feeling that level of appreciation and understanding how much it makes sense. We're going to actually move our feet behind this thing, but the way we're going to move our feet is going to be a very methodical process. It's going to be step 1, step 2, step 3. We want to go step by step and figure out exactly how we need to move. And Virgo can also be really precise in that if something doesn't work, it's going to say no, no, no. Okay, show me a little more about that. No, that doesn't fit. Next. You feel me? Like it's a sort of detached energy, in that Virgo is a mutable sign. It will move itself, or you know what I mean? Like it's with whatever's clever. I'm with you when you're right is a very Virgo saying. Like, if the shit don't make sense, I can't get behind it. If you can make dollars make sense, then hey, we can make change together. You feel me? With the sun being in Leo, it's going to give us this level of excitement. So it's like we're building up to something that's actually going to be fun. That's another word that we need to pull out. I feel like the full moons in Aquarius are working at us in order to get us to stop taking things so seriously all the time, stop taking ourselves so seriously to the point where we can't enjoy life, we can't have fun, we can't brag about things because we feel like, oh no, there's more work to be done. Like, nah. Right now it's about getting the stuff written down on paper, having that you know, level of, what do I want to say, measured practice, measuring the energy that you give to things and making sure that it adds up to something at the end of the day that's going to be like kapoom, pound, bang, going to help you to enter into the world as a more authentic version of you. It's like it's like take your wildest dreams, and this month is going to give you the opportunity to really crunch them down, make them make some sense, and by the end of it you'll be able to like come out with that S on your chest looking like Superman, and everybody only thought you were, you know, Clark Kent. They thought the only thing you were able to do is sit up and push papers and push your glasses up and be a nerd, and like you were that one-dimensional person. But Leo season is giving us all the tools, if we're ready to do the work and put our head down, to really birth this. Y'all hear me, y'all feel me, I know it. So we have to watch our ideas of perfection. I'm looking at my notes. Watch our ideas of perfection, trust our process, right? So right now is even though it's Leo season, I'm telling y'all, you don't want to tell everybody your plans. It's not time to start making announcements and stuff. It's time to put your head down and work and trust the process. Fall in love with the process of what it is that you've got going on. And once you've perfected that process and you understand how you need to roll, you have to really like temper our idea of what perfection is and realize that we've only got so much time on this earth. We've only got so much time to get it right. And so either you're going to do it or you're not. We all need to imagine our idea of what perfection looks like. For me, what I've discovered is perfection looks like giving it my best every day. That is perfection. I've got 1,000 different priorities. As long as I'm able to contribute to each of them every day, that to me is perfection. That is the best that I can give. You know what I'm saying? I'm not depleting myself. I don't want to feel tired to the point of exhaustion at the end of every day. I want to live a life that's full. You know, and what does that look like for you? Because it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. And with Mars being in Virgo, people are going to be really pushy as far as like what they feel like you should be doing, how they feel like you should be doing it. Especially with Mercury being in Leo, it's like people don't even realize that what they're saying might be coming off as sort of offensive or aggressive even. So really having that discernment in the information in the back of your mind, like, oh, okay, so motherfuckers don't even realize what's really happening right now. They probably didn't even mean to say that to me, how they did. You know, they may be well-meaning behind what it is that they're saying, but I just didn't like the way it came off because Virgo makes us really finicky. So the person talking is finicky, the person receiving is finicky, and Leo is like I said, people are adding super embellishments to things. So energy. Okay. I also want to talk about Uranus going retrograde on August 19th. So this is something that we have to look forward to. Anytime planets go retrograde, it's a time for review. So just be prepared. And this is, again, in the realm of Aquarius. We're really being put under a microscope. You know, why we are the way that we are, why we deal with our emotions, how we deal with the collective, how we deal with other people, how we fit into, again, the collective space, the collective story is really being highlighted. A lot of us will start to realize once we get a little closer to the 19th of August, how much we sacrifice our own needs for the needs of others. And so it's going to be sort of a moment of calling back our power to ourselves and really having a sense of ownership of our personal freedom. Again, those questions of what does personal freedom really look like to you, you know, and not allowing yourself to be swayed by tradition, by authority, by peer pressure, by other people who, you know, you may have been in or seen yourself sort of comparing yourself to. At this point, I feel like we're really going to be breaking free and wanting to really focus on how we're moving in ways that make us feel more authentically us, like we're making our own decisions. I see a lot of people are breaking away sort of from the societal norms. You know, people are living in tiny houses and becoming sovereign citizens and not eating, you know, mass-produced foods as much anymore. So I feel like this collective break off or just strike towards independence, this is going to be just another push in that direction. So yes, this is why we're seeing so many people break away from the collective idea of security, the collective strategy, right? The collective incorporation or way that things should be done. When I think of Taurus, I think of paperwork, I think of resources, I think of military, I think of just strategy. How are we going to get pooled our resources together and get everybody on one page, right? That's also very Taurus to me, is like the tyrant, the authority, the one that controls the resources and how they come in and who gets how much and all these things, right? Because Taurus is like math to me. I don't know why. Like Taurus is the math sign to me, because if it don't add up, then for them it's just like, what are you even talking about? Everything has to add up. Everything must fit in a box. But Uranus being here is asking us to challenge those boxes. Who says what the fuck those boxes really need to look like? Who's the one that put Taurus in charge? Uranus wants to come in as Aquarian energy and say, well, how come everybody doesn't get to decide what their boxes look like for themselves? Right? How come we can't all just, create? Yes, we need boxes. Okay. As human beings, we need categories. We need, to understand what the hell's going on. But also, I feel like the opposite of that doesn't have to necessarily happen, where everything is so controlled and old-timey and tradition rules everything. Uranus wants us to switch up our ideas of how things have always been done and figure out new innovative ways that are going to help us progress. And like, it's not just about the new way to do stuff. Yeah, new school, kicking it, Generation Z. Like, no, it's about how can we improve? How can we improve this? How can we become better? How can we make it so that people can individualize what they have going on, so that it doesn't feel like you're being forced or, this is something that you have to do and it's being put on you because this is the way it's always been done and there's no other explanation outside of this is the way it's always been done, So it going retrograde, we're all going to be asked to take a look at our own situation, figure out, how we really want our stuff to look. And I feel like, honestly, a lot of people are going to go into entrepreneurial, if you haven't already, they're going to start their own businesses. They're going to, like I said, become sovereign citizens, realizing how we make our money. Like, we're going to have brand new ideas about that, brand new ideas about how we feed the planet. I really feel like I hate my hair like this. Okay. I feel like we're going to have new ideas about how we feed the planet, how we nurture each other, and what it means to strategize for oneself in your own life and set yourself up, right? Lastly, I do want to talk about, Virgo season begins August 22nd, and this is when we will have that full moon in Aquarius. So where we started Leo season off, with the sun in Leo, moon in Aquarius, and having that, those themes of the self come up. Now when we move into Virgo, the themes of, how we realize the self are going to come in. What types of routines do we need? How are we taking care of ourselves? What is your individual plan for your health, for your wellness? What is your individual plan for your financial health? What situation or what circumstance have you put yourself into, giving your actions and your sense of authority over yourself? Do you understand planning? How secure are you, years into the future? So, okay, Aquarius is wanting us to self-actualize, to go out with the ideas that we hold so dear to ourselves, because Aquarius is about personal beliefs and things. So it wants us to realize our best version of self. With Leo season pushing us out there, it's like, all right, now that you're here, now that you're out here, it's not just in your head, it's not just a plan anymore or this thing that you're working towards, it's actually happening. What types of support are you going to provide for yourself in order to continue to be that person that you want to be, that person that you see yourself being? Because Virgo, again, is about getting pragmatic and bringing things down to a real world level, understanding the actual work that goes into something. So it's asking you on a daily basis, on a domestic level, what does your life have to look like in order for you to support this grand being that you've become, that you've turned yourself into? I have a little poster over here that my dad actually gave to me. It says, let me put my glasses on. It says, life isn't about what is it? Oh, life isn't about finding yourself. It's about creating yourself. That is what this whole season is about. I wish you guys the best of luck and the best of love, you know what I mean? Because it is about self-love. It is about self-realization. It is about having the hard conversations with yourself about where you need to do better. It's about tempering your process and not counting your eggs before they hatch. You know, really taking things on a step-by-step in a slow way, but also a measured way, to the point where you can pinpoint the date when you're going to be done with something, right? It's about gaining control over ourselves and over our own lives, and moving into the next season, into Virgo season. It's going to be about maintaining, that's the Virgo energy, maintenance, maintaining this new version of ourselves. So happy birthing, happy realizing, happy dreaming. I want you guys to do the work as far as, you know, write down who you want to be, how you see yourself living, what it is that you need to feel like a more solid version of yourself. Because I feel like, you know, once we start subscribing to just the mainstream way of doing things and what's expected of us, you know, we all have felt that sense of internal struggle and frustration when you feel like, well, this is the sure thing, but this is what I really want to be doing. This is who I really am. I go to work every day, and you might excel even there, but it's like you have to mask certain parts of yourself to even convince yourself that it's worth it to be in this realm. And for a lot of us, it comes down to, you know, survival, the money. Again, all this Virgo energy, these moons and things are asking us, all right, do you have the courage to really set out a plan to work your way out of this situation so that you can be authentically you? Because it's possible, and you have help. And there are other people who are thinking the same things and who want that same release, that same outlet, that same opportunity, right? And so it really is about getting your shit together so that you will recognize your tribe when they come. So that you will recognize what you bring to the table when that time comes, and when those people come knocking or they appear. You won't be sitting up like, oh, well, if only. No more time for if onlys. No more time for if onlys. It's time. If you were looking for the confirmation, that is absolutely time for you to start getting your shit together and figure out that escape plan, baby. This is it. Leave a comment down below if this reading or, you know, this conversation resonates with you at all. I'm super interested to hear how you guys are navigating through this time, and what themes you're seeing pop up, because that's really why I have this channel. It's to raise awareness, right, to the fact that, like me, I'm the type of person, I don't really like to vocalize what I'm going through, but I observe and I recognize that a lot of the things I'm challenged with as we move through time, other people are challenged with. So collective consciousness is no longer a theory. We're here, we're in this together for real. So for sure, check in with me and let me know how this season is going for you. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like it. I love having this little talk time with you guys. So let's keep this good thing rolling. Expect some Leo season pulls for each zodiac sign to come up very, very soon. And as always, if you'd like a reading with me, just visit nellnicole.com. The link is in the description box below. You can purchase a reading there. I have tarot readings, I have astrology readings. We can also look into what the month has in store for you specifically, so that you can pinpoint the healing work that needs to be done in order to get you to the next level for real, because we about that real growth, that personal alignment, and just starting your own, you know, sparking your own evolution, right? Because nobody else is going to do it for you. So again, I love you guys, and thank you so much for joining me. I will see you in the next video. Happy Leo season. Bye.